Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're actually starting the ZX9r. We're getting into the meats and potatoes of this bike. Every time I look at it, it gets a little bit worse. Everything is not looking so good, but I'm still holding faith that it'll be good. Yeah, I've got it on the stands now at the garage, decently cleared, the bike's out of the way. Yeah, we got a lot of work for us to do. I mean, the brake caliper is hanging by zip ties. This whole under panel is just flopping around. Rear wheel, the axle's not even tight or anything. Ignition's not wired, wiring harness is screwed up, everything. I mean, we got a lot of work to do, so I'm gonna go ahead and get right into it. Alright guys, so I've been looking at the bike for a good hour, hour and a half, just checking everything out, looking around, trying to see what to start with, what to go about. What I've came to is that ignition coils probably need replaced. The plugged wires have been ripped out, kind of. It's all janky. The wiring is an absolute mess. Thankfully I was able to find a wiring diagram to go ahead and figure out what goes to what. First, I do need to get ignition coils, plug wires. Spark plugs look okay, so that's nice. As of right now, I think what I can do is just go through all these wires, repair what's needed, and I'm going to label everything so that when I do put it back together, I know exactly what goes to what. So, yeah, I'm going to keep working on it. From what you've seen so far of this video, you could probably tell that I'm pretty nervous of this bike. It looks horrible and the wiring looks terrible, and I virtually have no information about this bike. It seemed like the closer I looked at it, the worse it would get. Naturally, I started having thoughts of maybe stuffing it in the shed to be a later project, or parting it out, maybe even selling it just as it is. I was feeling overwhelmed about the whole situation. But that's when I started talking to God and praying about it. I've learned that when things like this happens, or you're just overwhelmed, you don't really know what to do, you feel hopeless, you just gotta talk to God and just pray it out. Even if you aren't praying, just tell him what's up. Just tell him what's good. Like, this feels really sucky, and I feel like I'm just straight up screwing myself. And overall, just ask him, like, what the frick do I do? And I think he was just telling me, just keep pushing forward. Shut up and just keep working. That was all I was thinking, was just keep working. So I went ahead and decided to obviously start labeling the wires and get started on the wiring work. That's the thing too, man. I feel like people shy away from talking to God only until like nighttime, or before they go to bed, or maybe before they eat a meal. God calls us to talk to him always, man. He wants to be our friend. That's his overall, like, that's what he wants. So it's important just to keep a conversation going with them. Tell them what you're feeling. Tell them what you're enjoying right now. Tell them what you like. Like, he wants to hear it. He created all this, you know? And he loves to hear about what we're doing and how we feel. That's the way he helps us. He can't help us if we don't want help, you know? So, at least I try to let him know, like, hey, I need help when I need help. But, yeah, it's just a good thing to do. Whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, whenever you're stressed, just talk it out with him, and usually it almost always ends up being great. Alright, so I'm finally done labeling all the wires, getting everything organized so that I know where they go, so it'll be easier to put everything together. My advice for anybody getting a big project like this where everything is just thrown apart and terrible, start by labeling each wire. Make sure you know what goes with what. It's going to save you a ton of time when you're actually going to put things together, when you're actually hooking wires up to each other, so that you don't have to go back and forth on the wiring diagram every time. This way you just know what goes with what. From now on, I'm thinking about actually getting some power to this thing and seeing, you know, if lights will turn on, what everything's doing, see how healthy the wiring is, honestly. And from there, if we can get the starter to turn over, we can check some compression. I just want to check that first thing. It's good while you got everything apart, so that you know that if your engine's junk, you know now, rather than when everything's together and you can't seem to get it started. So yeah, let's get to it. Alright, what's going on, guys? I am going to attempt to crank this thing over and see if it will turn over. Which I'm thinking it should, with how I've got it hooked up. But we will see. Oh, what the heck happened? We better. Let's see here. Doesn't sound good. That's probably why. So our relay was plugged in upside down, so murdered our fuse. Probably why it didn't work. So, square this gear on these guys. Good. Okay. Nothing is happening. Alright guys, so after I turned the key on, nothing lit up, everything seemed blank. I went back to the ignition switch since I knew that we got a new one. And I figured out the switch comes with 7 wires. Gosh, if this thing would ever focus. It comes with 7 wires. On the wiring diagram, it comes with 5. So I knew that we probably had a problem with the switch and how it was wired. So I've been going through trying to trace wires, figure out what wire goes to what, because of course the colors are different. And I think I finally figured it out. So I'm going to go ahead and repair this to where it will work and plug it back in. We'll see if we can get some lights. Alright guys, we're back. We've rewired our ignition. We're going to see if things act correctly now, as they should. So let's go ahead and plug this in. Make sure stuff that shouldn't touch ground is not touching, so that you don't pop all your fuses every time. Okay, should be good now. Let's see. Ignition is off. Let's give it power. Let's hear all the fuses pop. Nothing. Good. Alright, here's the test, guys. Ignition on. We got lights. Fantastic. Our gauges are lit up. Fantastic. Nothing's plugged in, so I can't really see that well if it's actually working or not, but lights on the dash are on. Got our ignition relay coming on. I think we're good somewhere, guys. Haha. So things are working, guys. The wiring's working. So ignition's good. Things are good. We're at least getting the starter relay going on. Yeah, I'm gonna keep working on this. See what we can get up. See what we can get going on. Alright guys, done some more digging, figured out why the relay is clicking, but starter's not coming on. Starter should be coming on with electrically how I have it hooked up. It's not, so I went ahead and jumped the starter just to make sure that it's all good, and it came right on, no problem. And I noticed when I hit the ignition switch to turn the thing on, was getting no power, but the relay is clicking. So I figured out that
our relay is not transferring power from the battery to our starter. And you can hear when I jiggled it around, you could hear that it was making some jingling noises. Never good for relays. Relays should be quiet when you shake them, so that's a good tell. But regardless, I still hooked it up to the multimeter. I got my power probe and powered it on. Still no continuity, so that's the deal. Just because a relay clicks does not mean it's good. You gotta check it, make sure that you jump it, give it power, check continuities, make sure that it is actually working and providing power or ground, whatever it's doing. But yeah, this project's been pretty simple so far. I was really nervous about the wiring and just the bike itself, because obviously it looks pretty rough right now. But that's the thing, if you just keep moving, that's the whole deal. Don't get freaked out, don't get in over your head, just remember that keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward. Even if you get freaked out and like start worrying about stuff, just keep moving. Yeah, a couple times I thought I needed a starter. You know, I thought my ignition switch was so screwed up. I thought I blew the whole thing up because I popped a bunch of fuses and stuff. Just keep moving forward and you'll figure it out. And God makes it great in the end. He just doesn't want you to give up. So yeah, that's what I've been learning so far. Overall, I'm really happy with what's going on. It's coming together really well. So yeah, guys, I'm probably gonna leave it here. I might do some more diddly daddling with it electrically, just getting it nice and ready. But overall, I think electrically we're doing good. I'll get that starter relay coming. Other than that, things should be good. Next up, probably checking compression, and spark. Major things that we gotta check. But really, other than that, it's just gonna be fixing up radiator hoses and getting the carbs on, everything going, ready to rock. It really won't be that hard. So yeah, I'm excited. It should come together. But yeah, check it out in the next episode. Let's keep going, boys.